Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, to seek the blessings of Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Radha Madhav, Bhagavad Gaurita, Ishla Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj's assembled devotees. We wanted to talk about Lord Balaram today. It's one of the Dasavatars. Sometimes people say Krishna Balaram as Dasavatar, but actually Krishna is regarded to be Avatari, source of the avatars. He's not one of the avatars, but he's actually the source of the avatars. So one God, many expansions, and the first expansion is regarded to be Balaram. So from Krishna comes Balaram. So this is Balaram here. So let me just see what's going on here. This is Shaligram Shila, Lord Vishnu, but we also identify him as Radha Shyam Sundar. And this is Balaram. It's actually Dwarka sea that comes from Dwarka. The seas in Dwarka, the corals there, and he's white in color, which is what Balaram's color is. So this is a typical Balaram color. So, just stop share. Okay. Oh, shows me more today. So Balaram identifies as a cowherd boy, as Krishna and Balaram came together. Sometimes Krishna is regarded as the 8th avatar. However, the review scriptures explain that Krishna is the fountainhead of the avatars, and thus is known as Avatari. So this is from the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Canto 1, Chapter 3, text number 28. Balaram is actually the 8th avatar, and also he is the first expansion known as Prakash Vaibhav. Same Godhead as Krishna. So the first expansion is of Balaram, the very first expansion. So Swayam Prakash is Krishna, his own manifestation, and Vaibhav Prakash is the expansion of Balaram, with small differences. So what are the differences? Color. Krishna is blackish, bluish blackish. Balaram is white. Another difference is his mood. Balaram's mood, although he's God, he's like the servitor God, not the served God. Krishna is the served God. Balaram's mood is he always wants to please and serve Krishna. So he's the servitor God. He's God, but in the mood of seva. Balaram creates the spiritual world, which consists of the planet Golok Vrindavan and Vaikuntha. He expands himself into Lord Mahasankarsana, and through further different expansions creates the material world. So Balaram actually has a very wide function to serve Krishna. He expands himself into the Holy Land. Everything, all the different items in the Holy Land is regarded to be expansion of Balaram. So this is the family tree. Lord Krishna, the source of everything, the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. And the first incarnation is Balaram, Baladev, from whom comes the quadruple expansions. Balaram also expands into the great serpent known as Anantashesh or Sheshanag. He lays on the casual ocean and serves as the couch upon whom Lord Mahavishnu reclines. So the confirmation of that is in the Brahma Samhita, text 47 of the 5th chapter. So, Lord Anantashesh is an expansion of Balaram, upon whom Lord Vishnu is lying. So we will see that when we see the pictures of Mahavishnu. I don't think I've got one here. No, I haven't got one. You will see the snake. That snake is Balaram. That Anantashesh is the devotee incarnation of God, who knows nothing but service to Krishna. With his thousands of mouths, he is always singing the endless glories of Krishna since time immemorial, and still has not found an end to his glories. So just imagine singing Krishna's glories for thousands and thousands of millenniums with his 1,000 mouths, but not found an end to the glories of Krishna. He also expands himself to serve Krishna's as Krishna's paraphernalia, including such items as umbrellas, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred Gayatri thread, the throne in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. So a lot of references given to Balaram's function as Krishna's first expansion. Lord Balaram exemplifies the service attitude to Krishna. His only mission is to please Krishna by rendering service to him. Lord Balaram is the eternal companion of Sri Krishna. He came previously as Lakshman with Ram, and later as Nityananda Prabhu with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So as Lakshman, he had to do many things to serve Ram, which he wasn't particularly happy. For example, when Ram was ordered to go to the jungle, Lakshman picked up his bow and said, "No, we're going to fight for the kingdom." And Ram said, "No, we're not. We're going to obey our superiors. We're going to obey my stepmother. And I'm going to go to the forest, whether you like it or you don't. And you have to accept that." And as Lakshman, he was the younger brother. He completely surrendered to Ram. When he had to make the fire so that Sita can walk through the fire, he was not in approval at all. He was angry. Why do I have to do this? Mother Sita is pure. So, and then he had the function of taking Mother Sita to the ashram of Valmiki and leave her there. Another devastating event in the heart of Lakshman. He tore him apart. But he had to do it because he was the younger brother. So he made a vow. Next time, I will come as his older brother. So he did. As Krishna, he came as Balaram. As Nityananda, he came as the elder brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And his elder brother, he didn't necessarily have to follow the orders of Krishna because he was older. Krishna wouldn't order him about. But his mood was to serve Krishna. He is the original spiritual master, and anyone desiring to make spiritual progress must first get the mercy of Balaram, Adi Purush, Adi Guru. Whenever Krishna appears in the material world, he is accompanied by his associates and paraphernalia. 5,000 years ago, when Krishna descended onto the material world, he was first preceded by Balaram. Only after Balaram gave his mercy did Krishna descend. Such is the intimate relationship between Krishna and Balaram. When Balaram appeared as the seventh child in the womb of Devaki, she could understand that there was a divine child, and this made her all the more concerned about his safety, because they were in the prison, her and Vasudev. And every time they had to give the child to Kamsa, who would kill the child. So 6 children had already been killed. The 7th was born. even not seventh was not born, he was conceived. Even Kamsa could sense his potency, Balaram's potency. He became fearful, thinking he may be tricked by the prophecy that he will be slain only by the eighth child of Devaki. At this time, Krishna instructed Yogamaya, his internal potency, to transfer the unborn child from the womb of Devaki to that of Rohini. So he was in the womb of Devaki in the prison in Mathura. But then he was transferred to Rohini, who was another wife of Vasudeva, but was in the home of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul, hiding from Kamsa. In this way, Balaram was born in Gokul under the protection of Nanda Maharaj. Garga Muni, the venerable Kul Guru, family priest of the Yadu dynasty, revealed to Rohini that the child she was carrying was indeed the son of her husband, Vasudeva. Remember, he was in prison. Huh? At the time of name-giving ceremony, Garga Muni named the child Ram, one who gives all pleasures. He's the reservoir of all pleasure. That's what Ram means. The source of all pleasure. Referring to the immense strength of the child, Garga Muni predicted that he will also be known as Balaram. Bal means strength. Since he was forcibly attracted from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, he would also be known as Sankarshan. So he had three names. He had loads of names, actually. These are three. And there's another one. As a son of Rohini, he's known as Rohini Nandan. Very, very nice name. As the elder brother of Krishna, is known as Dauji. So many, many names. This is Garga Muni performing the Nam Samskar for Krishna and Balaram. When he was 1 day, 1 year old. 1 year, 1 day. Both brothers were exquisitely beautiful, with black hair like a cluster of crow's feathers, and eyes like lotus petals. The only difference between them was the color. Krishna was bluish, blackish, like a thundercloud. And Balaram was cotton wool white. So there you go. This is a little idea. Krishna, Balaram. Krishna is blackish, bluish, beautiful, sham color. And Balaram is cotton wool white, beautiful. Lord Balaram's beauty is enhanced by the earrings touching his cheeks. His face is decorated with tilak made from musk, and his broad chest is garlanded with fragrant forest flowers. Balaram's voice is very grave and his arms are very long. The splendor of Lord Balaram's transcendental form eclipses millions of glistening rising moons. Lord Balaram is Lord Krishna's dearest friend. Although he knows the supernatural power of his younger brother, Krishna, still, out of love for him, he never leaves Krishna alone in the forest, even for a moment. Balaram did not make any sound after his appearance, his birth, which was on Purnima in the month of Shravan. He waited until she saw Krishna. Eternally, always looking like a 16-year-old boy, Lord Balaram wears blue garments. To remind him of Krishna, he wears blue garments. His handsome hair is tied in a graceful top knot. Splendid earrings adorn his ears, and his neck is splendidly decorated with garlands of flowers and strings of jewels. Splendid armlets and bracelets ornament Dauji's graceful and very strong arms, and his feet are decorated with splendid jeweled anklets. So blue dhoti, beautiful, garland, graceful. And in contrast, Krishna wears yellow garments and carries a flute, whereas Balaram, he carries a plow. During their childhood, Krishna and Balaram kept their mothers busy in transcendental anxiety by crawling everywhere. When they were walking, they were involved in transcendental pranks. Balaram would assist Krishna in his delightful naughty pastimes. Sometimes they would grab the tails of the calves and the cows and they'd get dragged along Braj dust along the floor. Krishna and Balaram, always naughty, finding newer ways to keep Yashoda Mai and Rohini Mai in transcendental anxiety. They crawled everywhere, enjoying the dust of Braj. The supreme babies would even be bathed in Braj dust with cow urine and dung. They would play with the calves. And then there would be the naughty pastimes of Makhan Chor, the butter thief, and Balaram would assist him in those pastimes. To increase the pleasure of Krishna's Vatsalya Ras, Balaram informed Yashoda Mai of Krishna's eating dirt of Vrindavan. Yes, not even.
Yes, all these activities of when childhood activities, did it happen in Gokul?
Yes, in Gokul.
In
That's
Gokul,
right.
isn't it?
Yes.
But still, Vrindavan is spiritually more advanced than Gokul, isn't it?
I think similar levels. Gokul, Vrindavan, all these are on the same platform.
Same spiritually level. Okay.
Yeah, same platform. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Vrindavan, different types of activities. You know, like with the gopis, a lot of pastimes took place there. So in that sense, you could argue that the ras was different. It was perhaps more superior than Gokul. Because in Gokul, it wasn't so much with the gopis, it was more with the gopas and Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj. But then in Vrindavan, it was more. Sorry?
When did they... I'm getting a bit confused about the time zone between the Gokul and Vrindavan.
Yeah.
They was born in Vrindavan, isn't it? Balaram.
It was Gokul because that's where Nanda Maharaj had his home.
Oh, it's born in Gokul.
Gokul. That's where they were. And then because of all the demons, they decided to move.
Yeah.
I think when Krishna was, how old was he? He was 3, I think. I think he was 3 when they decided to go to, was it Nandgaon first and then Vrindavan? Something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I always have to, bit hard to remember this.
Yeah. We've got a timeline somewhere. I'll dig it out sometime.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Prabhu.
So usually the elderly gopis used to complain about Krishna and his naughty activities. But this time, Balaram complained to Mother Yashoda. And Yashoda Mai was surprised. So she said to Krishna, what's happening? Usually it's the gopis who come. Now it's Balaram who's complaining about you. What's this? You're eating dirt? Open your mouth. He doesn't open his mouth. He knows he's going to get caught up. So with his mouth closed, he's talking to Mother Yashoda. Balaram, he's always teasing me. And Yashoda Mai is asking him, what do you mean he's teasing you? You can't trust him. Krishna says to Yashoda Mai, he makes up things. What do you mean? Well, he told me one day, how come I'm white, Yashoda Mai is white, Rohini is white, Nanda Maharaj is white, but you're black. How come? And Krishna said, I don't know. He said, I'm a lot older than you, so I know. I'll tell you why. One day, Nand Maharaj saw you being auctioned in the marketplace, and out of sympathy for you, he bought you and brought you home. Krishna said, that really made me upset because you are my mother. And you haven't bought me. I'm always your son. So like this, he was trying to kill some time and swallow the dust that he'd eaten, the earth that he had eaten. Then he opens his mouth and he shows Yashoda the universal form. So at the age of 6, Krishna and Balaram were given charge of the cows. Along with their friends, they left daily for pasturing rounds. As the cows grazed peacefully, Krishna and Balaram, surrounded by their friends, enjoyed the forest atmosphere. There were blossoming flowers, chirping birds, and lakes of crystal clear water. Cool breezes carried the aroma of lotuses and the refreshing spray of waterfalls. The trees overladen with fruit bent to the ground as if to offer respects to them. The boys danced and played and wrestled. Sometimes they imitated the sounds and movements of animals such as frogs, monkeys, and peacocks. Or they chased shadows of birds along the ground. They played hide and seek and football with ball-shaped fruits. And in Braj, Balaram only killed 2 demons. He killed Dhenukasura, the donkey demon. So the donkey demon, Dhenukasura, he was in Talavan, one of the forests, one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Out of fear of these demons, no one could approach Talavan and enjoy the numerous flowers and fruit in the forest. Balaram, induced by the coward boys, entered the forest desiring to kill the demons. He began shaking the fruit trees, making a big noise. Dhenukasura at that time was furious. He attacked Balaram with his rear legs, but Balaram easily picked him up by the legs and whirled him around until he was dead. As the other demons, friends of Dhenukasura, rushed to attack, Krishna and Balaram picked them up and threw them onto the trees, killing them all. Soon the forest was free of all demons, and it appeared that the bent trees were being directed by Balaram to pay their respects to Krishna. This is Dhenukasura. And then everybody enjoyed the fruits that fell out of the trees. And it was always convenient that these pastimes would take place just before lunch. So they would have a good fight and then have a nice feast. And the second time he killed the demon was Palambasura. Once when Krishna and Balaram were playing with the cowherd boys, a demon called Palamba entered their midst disguised as a cowherd boy. Understanding the invincible potency of Krishna, instead decided to abduct Balaram. At the end of the game, as the losing party, he was supposed to carry Balaram on his shoulders. Carrying the load on his shoulders, he ran swiftly, but Balaram realized the true identity of the demon, began to make himself heavier and heavier. Unable to bear the weight, and this demon assumed the original form, which was like a huge, dark, effulgent cloud decorated with golden ornaments. Balaram then brought his fist down on the head of the demon, splitting it into 2 and causing him to give up his life. So that's the end of Palambasura. That was when Balaram was 6 years and 10 months. When Balaram would get tired by playing, he would lie down on the lap of one of the cowherd boys, and Krishna would personally massage his feet, fan him, and give him service. Such was a sweet reciprocation of love between them. As the elder brother of Krishna, Balaram was the object of his love and respect. Once when he was walking in the forest of Vrindavan, Krishna observed the trees bending down as if paying obeisances to Balaram. He glorified the lotus feet of Balaram as being the object of devotion, even for the demigods. He said that the trees who were impersonalists in previous lifetimes, witnessing the personal form of Balaram, were now praying for his love.
We can't see the slides. We can only see the photo of Krishna Balaram with the praying with the cow.
Oh, all this time.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just Let me just try to, how's that? Can you see that? Let me see if I can
Yes.
see that.
Yeah. Thank you now. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Very good. Other fascinating events in Vrindavan. Balaram, he once wore a peacock feather and played a flute. So he's pretending to be Krishna. And as soon as he walked out, the Keshi demon, the host demon, came and kicked him. So Balaram went back inside and he gave the flute back to Krishna. And he told him, you keep it. I don't need it. And the peacock feather as well. Another time when Krishna expanded himself as all the gopas and the calves, when Balaram had kidnapped, Brahma had kidnapped them. At that time, for 1 year, Krishna expanded himself as cowherd boys and the calves. And the affection in that whole year that the parents of the gopas had increased so much. Balaram was amazed. He was thinking, why are they so affectionate to their children? Of course, the children had become Krishna. Krishna had expanded himself as the children. And similarly, the cows had so much affection for the calves. So one day he asked Krishna, what's going on? And Krishna said, well, Brahma's kidnapped the cowherd boys and the calves, and I've expanded myself. So that's why. Balaram, he controls the lotus flower by which travel takes place in Braj, sometimes short and sometimes long journeys. So sometimes the places in Vrindavan are very far away from each other. You think, how did they get to these places so quickly? So actually, the concept of the lotus flower, when they wanted to go somewhere, the lotus flower would just open, the lotus leaves would open, and they would be able to go to those places like Radhakund very quickly. Sometimes the lotus would close. So it just depended on the mood. Hence why the large distances between the different places. Once Lord Balaram, who was at the time living in Dwarka, came back to stay in Vrindavan for, yes, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, all the devotees. You said just now about the lotus flower travel everywhere. It opened. So are you saying was there people inside or was the
No. It's just
only
the way. It's just the way Vrindavan is constructed. Like the spiritual world, it's a lotus, you know. So it looks like there are big distances between different places, but actually, if they want to go somewhere and it's a long distance, actually what happens is a lotus petal just opens and they reach that place very quickly. It's one of the ways how the devotees travel around Vrindavan. At least, and the Lord travels around Vrindavan. It's unique. It's unique. It's very different.
It's very different. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry?
Thank you very much, because I was gopis, and they were traveling.
Like that.
Sorry, then all of.
Sorry, Naniben?
When you said the lotus flower traveled, like others devotees think that people were sitting inside the
No.
lotus flower
The
and
lotus
traveling.
flower, it wouldn't travel. It would be just the way the lotus would open to facilitate their transport. Sorry, Naniben, what you were saying?
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, that lotus flower would open to facilitate the transport of gopas and gopis who want to travel.
Yeah, but the lotus itself is not traveling. It's just the petals are opening in a certain way to enable them to reach those destinations.
Oh, you mean the petals expand to that extent where they want to go, so they can walk over it?
Yeah, it just That's one of the ways of transportation within the spiritual realm.
That must be really amazing. Flowers like
Oh,
potters.
We-
Oh my God.
Yeah, we can't even
wow.
imagine.
No.
That's why Golok is situated like a lotus. It's just a lotus, huge lotus flower. Huge, 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 huge lotus.
Suppose it might be like a bridge, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
Like
like
a
that.
bridge. Yeah.
like a
You can
bridge.
walk.
Something
You
like
can walk it on it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Difficult for us to completely conceive it, but this is the understanding that we have. Okay. So he went back to Vrindavan for 2 months to relieve the Brajavasis who were feeling great separation from Krishna. At that time, he enjoyed pastimes with his gopi friends who were different from the gopis of Krishna. Enjoying such pastimes on the banks of Yamuna at Ramghat, the Lord summoned Yamuna so that he could sport in the water. But Yamuna didn't come because she was thinking that Balaram is a little bit too tipsy. He's been having Varuni. So Balaram, he got a little upset and he took his plow and he began to drag Yamuna into 100 streams. And at that time, Yamuna came, understanding the glories of Balaram, and she paid her obeisances, asked for forgiveness. And then the Lord entered her waters and enjoyed with the gopis. One time, Samba, the darling son of Jambavati and Krishna, kidnapped Lakshmana. Now, Lakshmana is the daughter of Duryodhana. And Lakshmana wanted to liaise or have the connection with Samba. So the Kauravas became very upset when Samba kidnapped her. And they arrested Samba. When the Yadus found out, Balaram was very angry. Oh no, he wasn't very angry initially. He was saying we should deal with this peacefully. So he went to Hastinapur and he wanted to negotiate with Duryodhana. But Duryodhana was very arrogant. The Kauravas were very, very arrogant. They insulted Balaram. And Balaram, in that situation, he took his plow and he dragged Hastinapur into the Ganga. And the Kauravas, they were terrified. They surrendered to Balaram, begging for his mercy. And they immediately returned Samba and Lakshmana to Balaram, had them married. And everybody was actually very happy. He was married to Revati, and he had 2 wives, Revati and one other, forgotten the other one. Anyway, Revati's pastime is interesting. In Satyayug, a king named Revata, whose daughter Revati was excellent in all respects. He could not find a match for her. So he went to Brahma, asked for his advice. Brahma lives in Satyalok, different world. And we know time in Brahmlok, even a second is like 100,000 years. So Brahma advised him that, hey, you've come to Brahmlok. Millions of years have passed on earth. And now is the time of Dwapar Yuga. And actually there is a qualified person that can marry your daughter, and that's Balaram. So then the Revata went to earth quickly and he married Revata to Balaram. Now, of course, Revata was very tall because in Satyayug, people are very, very tall. So Balaram took his plow and he reduced the size of Revati to his size. And he accepted her as his wife. Now, Balaram was equally affectionate to the Kauravas as well as the Pandavas. So he liked Bhim, but he also liked Duryodhana, which is a little strange because Duryodhana was quite a nasty piece of work. So why would Balaram like Duryodhana? Well, sometimes Krishna likes challenges. So Balaram presents challenges to Krishna. And one of the challenges was, I will favor Balaram and you will have to find a way around my favoring Balaram. So Krishna, of course, accepted the challenge, and he loves the challenge. So, for example, when at the end of the Mahabharata, Bhim and Duryodhana were fighting, and Bhim hit Duryodhana below the waist and smashed his thighs. At that time, Balaram came. He wasn't involved in the battle, but he came and he said to Bhim, "You have broken the rules of the Dharma, of the mace fight, and I will destroy you, I will kill you." And Krishna stepped in and said, "What do you mean? Where were you when this battle was taking? You were going to different holy places, but we were here. We see the behavior of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Where were you when Duryodhana was telling Draupadi to sit on his lap? Where were you when Bhim made the vow to smash his thighs?" So in that way, Krishna defeated Balaram and Balaram's arguments. And Balaram had to say, "Okay, you carry on, you guys." So this is how Krishna enjoys this ras of persuasion. And this ras of persuasion is provided by Balaram, because he takes a side, or he takes an opposing side to what Krishna is sort of embracing. So very interesting, very, very interesting how Balaram and Krishna interact. They may not see eye to eye, and this is one God, different moods, and they increase each other's taste of enjoyment, rasa, by their different moods towards each other. Towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, thousands of sages assembled on the banks of the Naimisharanya to perform a 1,000-year yajna in an effort to stop the onset of Kali Yuga. One of the main disciples of Vyasadeva, Ramaharshana, was appointed as the leader. So he was conducting the lecture. And at that time, Balaram came in this presence of these thousands of sages at Naimisharanya. Everybody offered him respects except Ramaharshana, who seemed to be very proud as the leader of the whole congregation. Balaram understood that this pride was not good and simply picked up a piece of grass and he killed Ramaharshana. That was quite a heavy punishment. And the sages at that time, they came to Balaram and said, "Wow, what have you done? You've killed our speaker." That's quite a sinful thing to do, even for God. So then Balaram, he said, "Okay, yes, I can see what you're saying." And he installed the son of Ramaharshana, Sutta Goswami, as the leader of the assembly. And he then also pledged to continue with his pilgrimage to go to holy places. And of course, God is not impacted by sin, but to give the example that when one does something a little crazy, then one should atone for it. So this is the place. Also, it's a good example that one should not be arrogant, especially in front of the Supreme Lord. This is
Prabhuji,
the blade of grass. Yes. Yes, Nariman.
yes, when only just now I've just realized that while these Naimisharanya sages were there, it was still at the end of the Dwapar Yuga, and Krishna and Balaram were still there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that till today.
They began just before Krishna's leaving the planet, because they knew when Krishna goes, Kali Yuga is going to enter. So they stopped Kali Yuga from entering because they started just before Dwapar Yuga finished. But really intelligent, these sages.
Okay, so did it continue at the time, or it ended when the Parikshit Maharaj passed away after 7 days?
They were in there for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure of the timeline, but I think when Parikshit Maharaj, it had finished by the time Parikshit Maharaj.
It had finished, probably,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But it's an interesting point. Timeline is, I'm not quite sure exactly the timeline. But yeah, they would have finished by then. They
It
did
would have
finish.
finished by them, and Krishna would have left. Yeah, and then on.
Oh yeah. Krishna
If
left
Krishna would have
long
left,
time.
and then Parikshit, Pandavas
That's
would
true.
have gone, and then Parikshit Maharaj got the all
kingdom.
the kingdom. Yes.
That's
okay.
it.
Oh, just realized it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Babu.
no, it's good. Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you. Balaram is the only expansion of the Lord who can relate with Krishna on the basis of all the 5 rasas, which is really interesting. Shanta ras, because he is the paraphernalia, he is the Dharma. Dasya ras, because he massages Krishna. Sakhya ras, because he plays with Krishna. Vatsalya ras, he's the older brother. He's always protecting Krishna. Madhurya ras, this is an unusual one. Because Balaram, he expands himself also as Ananga Manjari, who is the sister of Radharani. So Ananga Manjari also enjoys Madhurya Ras with Krishna. So Balaram is the only expansion who is involved in all the 5 rasas with the Supreme Lord. So that's the end of Lord Balaram's summaries. Balaram ki jai, Lord Balaram ki jai. Any questions, any comments?
Yes, from Prabhuji.
Yes.
How did Lord Balram leave this material world?
Because Krishna left when the Jara shot his foot and he just left. And Balaram left at the same time. He left at the same time. He went he accompanies Krishna. He accompanies Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
what was that, Prabhu? I didn't hear that.
Balaram, he accompanies Krishna back. When Jara shot Krishna on the foot, Krishna decided to leave this world, and Balaram joined him, left at the same time.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you about Sam. He married the daughter of Duryodhan. So that was, Sam.
Samba.
So was that, that
Samba.
was, of course, before the war, the Kurukshetra war. Was it when Duryodhan was still alive?
Yes. Oh, very much so. The Kuru were in full flow at that time. Very much alive, very much, they were a very powerful force to be countered, to be, and that's why they were very arrogant. They said to Balaram, hey, we capture you as well. We've caught Samba, we've captured you as well. They were so arrogant towards Balaram, and Balaram thought, whoa, these guys don't want any negotiation or peace, huh? Because he was in the mood of, we are a great dynasty, you are a great dynasty, let's combine our dynasties. And the Kuru's mood was, no, we're superior to you. You are a coward boy. Prince anyway. So that was their mood, Balaram, Duryodhan's mood. So then Balaram said, okay, I'm going to curb your pride. Then he dragged Hastinapur into the Ganga. So yeah, they were very much alive. They were very much a very powerful force at that time.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking. Okay, anything else?
Yes,
Prabhu?
it's me.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mine is, it's all right. It's not very difficult, but I just found out like today that Vasudeva had 2 wives, yeah?
He had more. He had 8. I think
he
those
had
8
8.
wives.
Okay.
Yeah.
But others didn't have children. Only Yasoda and Rohini had children.
No, I think even the others had children. I can't remember the exact lineage, but the others also had children.
All right. And something else, Balram was born Poonam, Shravan month, yeah?
Yeah.
And Krishna is born Atham. So that's why he is older. Is he older only 7 days, or is he older 1 year?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's there's conflicting information about that. Some people say 7 days, some people say 1 year. I difficult to completely
Because
say with
you
certainty.
said he was
Yes, that's
he
right.
was expecting baby, and
Yeah,
then Maya took the baby and put it in Rohini's womb.
yeah,
And then
that's right.
Krishna, then Krishna was being expected. Then it should be really at least 9 months in between both of them. So at
Possibly,
least 1 year.
possibly, yeah,
So I was
possibly.
there. I was just thinking, like, is it when you said Poonam, and then you think that Krishna is born on the 8th. So how can that be straight away? But as you
Yeah.
say, you don't know. So definitely we don't know too. Thank you.
Yeah, there's conflicting information about that, but I think you're probably right. It's probably 1 year and 8 days. So I think that's right. 1 year and 8
1 day,
days.
1 year, 8 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And
No,
it
thank
was
you.
really,
Thank you so much.
today is very interesting episode.
Thank you. Yes, Balaram is amazing. There's a lot more actually about Balaram, but time is always a little restrictive. Anyway, Lord Balaram ki jai.